to the 23rd Hayley-Roxanna Crafts quick cross stitch video, where I share information, hints and tips on one area of cross stitch in a short video. In this video, I am focusing on how to wash your cross stitch. Even if you have been really careful when cross stitching your design, always washing your hands before stitching and never eating when stitching, there are still natural oils on your hands that transfer to the fabric. Although, let's be honest, most of us break these rules at some time. I've managed to get chocolate on my work and I have spilt tea on it. Whether it's food stains or just natural oils, it is important to wash your finished project before framing or finishing off in whatever way you choose. Even if you can't see the stains immediately, they can appear over time if not washed out. Washing can also help with getting out stubborn creases or marks from hoops made during stitching. Washing cross stitching is easy and doesn't require any special equipment. I will show you how I will wash these 3 completed geometric designs that I have stitched. These are my own designs and I will share where the charts can be purchased from in the description for this video. To wash your finished cross stitch, start by filling a large clean bowl or container with lukewarm water. I have this washing up bowl that I use specifically for washing my finished fabric crafts, whether it be cross stitch, embroidery, knitting or crochet projects. You then need to add a drop or 2 of your chosen mild soap or detergent. I use this non-biological hand washing liquid, which I found relatively cheaply compared to some hand washing liquids that I've seen, and it works just as well as more expensive brands. I've also seen people use just regular liquid soap that you'd use to wash dishes in, although I've never actually tried this myself. You just want to add a little bit of this to your water. Follow the instructions on the bottle to judge how much you'd need. I will just pop that little bit in, like so. And then you just want to swirl that around in the water just to disperse the soap evenly. You then want to take your finished cross stitch, ensuring that any masking tape that you have used while stitching just to protect the edges from fraying has been removed. You don't want to wash it with the masking tape on because this can cause a bit of a mess. And then you want to give this a pre-wash under some cool running water. And I've already done this. So this is now ready to submerge into my soapy water. I usually just give it a little bit of a swirl around, just nice and gentle. If you notice you've got a particularly stubborn stain on your work, you could try rubbing it gently with a soft brush, but you do want to be really careful not to rub too hard because this can damage your work. And sometimes I will use a stain remover, such as this one. This is one that I have used before on my cross stitches, just to pop on any particularly really stubborn stains before washing. However, you do need to be careful, as I have had situations where it has caused some colour runs of darker threads. So I do try to restrict using this to just where the stains on the actual fabric itself. I did manage to wash out the colours that ran though, so it wasn't a major problem overall. And it did get rid of a nasty chocolate mark that I'd got on a cross stitch. Once you've popped your finished cross stitch in the water, swirled it around, made sure it's been fully submerged, you can then just leave it to soak for between 15 minutes and 1 hour, depending on how dirty it is. As these are small cross stitches that I've done, I'm actually going to pop all 3 into the same bowl of water. If it was a larger project, I would wash this on its own, just to make sure that I can get it all into the water, and also so you don't transfer dirt from one cross stitch to another, because this could happen if you've got a lot. But with these being smaller ones, it's absolutely fine just to pop them all in the water together, give them a swirl around. These aren't particularly dirty pieces. I didn't have any mishaps with these ones, so it's just to make sure I've got any hand oils off them before I frame them. And I will just leave those now to soak. When your cross stitches that you are washing have finished soaking in the bowl of water, you can then take them out of the water and just give them a rinse in some cool water, just to remove any residual soap from the pieces. I've already done that with these three. And then lay your cross stitches onto a nice clean towel. Some people would advise lying them face down, like so. But I find it doesn't really make any difference which way you lie them, so it's up to you. You can choose. And then you want to just roll them up in your towel. If you've got a band on your towel, I do try to avoid rolling that onto the work itself, just so it doesn't cause any damage to it. But it tends to be okay. And then just gently roll them up. Some people will lie a second towel on top of them before they roll, and roll the two towels up. I just use the one, and then just give it a gentle press, just to remove any excess water from them. You don't want to press too hard. You certainly don't want to be wringing them out, as that can damage your cross stitches. And then just unroll the towel, like so, and leave your cross stitches to dry. You can move them onto a second towel that is a dry towel to dry them on, or to a drier part of the towel you're using if you're using quite a large towel like I am. But then just leave them until they are dry, or at least almost dry. This hand washing method that I've shown today can be used for cross stitch made with using standard cotton embroidery floss. But if you have stitched with silk or wool threads, it would not be suitable to hand wash your work. You also need to be aware that some embroidery floss and coloured fabrics are not colour fast, which means the colours can run. I've never had an issue with DMC threads and fabric, other than the slight issue I mentioned earlier when I'd used some stain remover spray on them. But if you're not sure whether the threads and fabric that you are using are colour fast, you could check the instructions of the materials, or even just try washing some scraps of the thread and the fabric first, before you actually wash your finished cross stitch, just to see what happens. If you have any questions about washing your cross stitches, please pop them in the comments. And in next week's video, I will demonstrate how to iron your finished cross stitch.